Gaming laptops are nothing new. They're larger, more powerful, and in a nutshell are basically portable computers on steroids. Now, MSI has been one of the pioneers in this industry, and for the past number of years, they've actually come up with a clever naming scheme for each of their devices. For the G series, there are 7 different tiers for you to pick from. The GT Titan series being the cream of the crop, while the other 6 will lean either more on mobility or performance depending on what you're looking for. What's up guys, Josh here with Yugatech, and a few months ago we were able to get our hands on the MSI GS66 Stealth, a solid and discreet looking gaming machine that could easily pull off a casual coffee shop session. But here we are today with a completely different model, the MSI GE66 Raider. Now, this bad boy is also powered by the latest 30 series graphics cards, so if you're on the search for the ultimate play, be sure to stick around. As expected, the GE66 follows up on the GE65 Raider from 2019, and at first glance, it definitely embodies what a gaming laptop should look like. But unlike the Stealth, this one is obviously going to be a lot less discreet. Heck, it kind of even looks like a smaller version of the GT76 Titan, which is not a bad thing in our opinion. It sports a granite gray aluminum lid, and since it's matte in texture, this won't be harboring any major fingerprint marks and smudges. With just the MSI logo embossed in the middle, it's also a pretty clean look, while at the bottom corners will feature these reinforced hinges that give it a slightly aggressive stance. Flip that over and you'll find that the bottom is made out of hard plastic, with some rubber feet to keep it all in place. We also notice that there's a whole lot of ventilation for this one, starting from underneath all the way up to these beefy exhaust ports in each of the sides to keep temperatures as low as possible. Now, if you're looking for a laptop with a plethora of ports, the MSI GE66 is probably your best bet yet. I like how most of the stuff you won't be actively using as much are located at the back, such as the charging port, Ethernet slot, HDMI and mini display ports, and we even get a USB-C port here that also has video output capability, which is great for those that use multiple monitors. Checking out the rest, it's nice how the sides are prioritized for things you'll need quick access to, including 2 USB 3.2 Gen 1 ports on the right side, coupled with a built-in SD card reader, while on the opposite end is a USB 3.2 Gen 2 port, a 3.5mm audio combo jack, another USB-C port, and of course, the Kensington lock right by the end. At its thickest, the MSI GE66 Raider is around 0.9 inches or 22.86mm, while the weight is relatively light, coming in at 5.25 pounds or around 2.38 kilograms, which is pretty good for a laptop of this caliber. With this, I don't think you'll be having much of a problem lugging it around wherever you go. Opening the lid will reveal the laptop's interior. It's more toned down compared to the outside and has this subtle dark blue tinge which complements the rest of the laptop's aesthetic. It also uses an island-style keyboard and comes with per RGB key lighting. But obviously, that's not the only thing. At the front is this rather eye-catching RGB strip across the front section that MSI likes to call their panoramic Aurora bar. It may look a little distracting at the beginning, but with enough downtime, it was actually easy to get used to. Either way, you can adjust this all using its built-in software. SteelSeries Engine will be responsible for controlling the colors on both the keyboard and the Aurora light bar, with a handful of control options and customizability. Typing on the keyboard felt natural, and although it isn't as wide as we expected it to be, it doesn't even take a full day to get used to, which is really good. We also get dedicated home, page up, down, and end keys on the far right, as well as the power button with an LED indicator at the very top. As for the display, the MSI GE66 uses a 15.6-inch IPS panel, and depending on the model, taking care of image reproduction is either a full HD screen with a refresh rate of 144 to 300 Hz or an Ultra HD screen with 60 Hz. In our case, we're getting the full HD variant coupled with a refresh rate of 240 Hz and has 100% sRGB with True Color technology. The screen isn't going to be the brightest, but since this also has anti-glare properties, aka a matte finish, viewing angles are good and it should be easier to view the display even under certain lighting conditions, like when you're outside. The frames on the sides are nice and slim for a more immersive experience, while the bottom bezel is about an inch thick with the subtle MSI logo sitting right in the middle. The top is a lot less thick compared to the opposite side, which is reserved for the webcam along with a white LED indicator beside it. As for audio, the speaker grills are actually these dotted patterns on the sides. It uses Dynaudio design speakers to provide a more natural sound reproduction than conventional ones. Personally, although quite loud, they're not the most impressive for multimedia consumption, most likely because they're firing from the sides rather than in front of you. They're good for gaming though. Nomic does up the ante when it comes to fine-tuning your sound. Apart from being able to adjust EQ and split audio outputs via Bluetooth, USB, or the standard 3.5mm jack, Soundtracker also allows you to maximize the capabilities of its stereo speakers. It acts like a visual indicator that points out the directions of where the predominant sounds are coming from, similar to the experience you get when you put on a pair of headphones. It doesn't just distinguish sounds coming from the left or right, but can even tell when they're coming from the back or even the front. It's pretty amazing. When it comes to internals, the MSI GE66 Raider is pretty loaded underneath the hood. While most of the gaming laptops we checked out so far rely on a power-saving Max-Q chip, the GE66 is equipped with a more proper GeForce RTX laptop GPU. On these models, we're getting the latest 30 series graphics cards ranging from the RTX 3060 up to a 3080 with 16GB GDDR6, all of which are available with up to Intel's 10th generation Core i9 processors to really squeeze all that performance out. The unit that we have comes with an RTX 3070 GPU and is equipped with 16GB of RAM. It's still not the full-fledged GPU you're used to seeing in desktops, since that's obviously going to be a tricky fit, but it should give you better performance compared to their Max-Q counterparts due to being able to handle higher wattage. Nevertheless, there's no question that gaming on this machine was very pleasant. AAA titles ran well at high or even ultra graphics, and when combined with the high refresh rate of the display, it makes for really smooth gameplay. It also uses NVIDIA's resizable bar technology, which basically uses advanced features of PCI Express to allow the CPU and GPU to share access to resources for faster data transfer. In short, you get smoother frame rates and better performance without having to upgrade anything new. Games that support ray tracing like Minecraft, Call of Duty, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and Cyberpunk look superb on the GE66, and so far we're not getting any bottlenecks either. Lighting and reflections are on point, and generally is a treat to play on. On Minecraft, you can see how much more immersive gameplay can be with ray tracing turned on. We're currently running it at an average of 119 frames per second, and as you're already seeing, most of the elements in the game are a lot more realistic, nicely illuminated, and have some good shadows. Speaking of shadows, we can pretty much say the same thing for games like Shadow of the Tomb Raider, as well as Cyberpunk 2077. With great detail and solid reflections, I don't think games like these do proper justice without a little RTX action anyway. Titles like Call of Duty Warzone are able to make use of Deep Learning Super Sampling, or DLSS for short, which is a type of rendering technique that lowers resolution and upscales it using artificial intelligence to look like it's running at a higher resolution. And it looks pretty well if I do say so myself, especially if hooked onto a 4K external monitor. With a built-in SD card reader, it's also an effortless companion to have for someone who often does video editing or even heavy animation. Now, I've been using this for my work lately, and at times I actually think it performs better than my desktop rig here at home, which currently uses a 1660 Super GPU with an older Intel processor. The only trade-off here is of course the increased fan noise, which could be a bother, but I think that's quite understandable. The MSI GE66 implements a humongous 99.9 watt-hour battery, which is conveniently the maximum allowed by flight regulations. It also uses a chunky 230 watt proprietary charger that looks a lot like a USB dongle at the end. Charging takes around 2 hours to reach 100% and lasted a little bit over 2.5 hours when I tried doing some power-hungry tasks on maximum performance, while setting it to balanced mode for some multimedia consumption came out with a score of close to 5 hours, a big improvement from its predecessor. The Type-C port on this laptop doesn't seem to support USB charging unlike the GS66 Stealth, but I think that's just fine since it probably needs a lot of power considering the internals of this machine. To wrap things up, the MSI GE66 Raider is definitely a cross between aesthetics and performance. You're pretty much getting the power of a desktop machine, but enclosed in a lovely portable 15-inch form factor. It's not too heavy to lug around unlike the GT Titan series, but it's not too light either. And because of all of these reasons, it sets itself to be a solid companion to have if you're looking for the ultimate play. The model that we have, powered by an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3070 laptop GPU, will cost you 164,995 pesos, while the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3080 variant will be priced at 184,995 pesos. Given what you're getting in the package, we think that this is great for the price, especially if you're looking for an on-the-go gaming machine that's built to handle the heaviest of tasks. But what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments section down below, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to our channel for more content, hit the bell icon so you guys don't miss any future uploads, and be sure to visit yugatech.com for the latest tech news and reviews. Again, this has been Josh, stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.